Yeah, yeah.
You are a son of a bitch.
Un saluto a
Hey,
tutti.
What's up, Juventini? Welcome back to the AJC. It is match day. We got Juventus versus Verona today, and I got a couple of fresh faces. All right, we had some questions coming in the live and saying, "Hey, Berto, you used to always bring, viewers on, everything like that." I stated it at that time. Nothing has ever changed. If you guys want to come on and you want to join at some point in time, we could definitely make it happen. Today, I got some guys that have been showing me love and support for quite some time, and I'm very, very happy to have them on. Trim, our boy Trim, Anthony Trimboli joining me today, and very, very happy to have him with us. Anthony, how you doing, my man?
I'm great, Berto. I appreciate you having me on today. It's an honor and a privilege, and looking forward to talking all things Juventus with you and our paisano Rino over there.
Oh yeah, it's always good times with Rino. Obviously, Rino, a longtime supporter of the channels, also rocking his own. So show some love to him. A calcio with Rino Z. And Rino, how you doing today, man?
Fantastic. It is a great honor to be here, even though it's been since December, haven't been yours, but I'm happy. So,
There you go. There
especially
you
to be
go.
with Trimboli, so why not? Let's rock and roll.
Yeah, and Ant getting some love already for the 15-16 black and gold. Hey, I gave you guys the leaks on what we're going to be expecting next season, and there's a black and gold return coming in the third. That one sounds absolutely beauty. And look at the other 15-16 in the back there with the pink there. Loving it.
All
Loving it.
all strategic, my friend. It's I pay attention to the video, so that's why I had to throw
Yeah.
these bad
Nice.
boys up there.
Yeah, and yeah, Alex P acknowledging that with Reno, you never know what you're gonna get. Favorite extremist, I love it, I love it. Beautiful, beautiful. Now,
Beautiful.
and James Lapierre in there showing some love. We're gonna have some fun today. There's a lot to discuss, and we've got. I asked the question out there because we had, and I gave some love to KB17 with what I saw as probably the biggest unpopular opinion I've probably ever come across on this show in terms of what others were coming up with and their comments, but it was the Bremer one. So the last live show, and we put the clip out there where myself and Anthony, their no knees, we just couldn't come to terms with someone being disappointed right now with Glace and Bremer. However, there was a couple in the live chat, but KB17 had started that. We put it out there, wanted to see where people stood, and yeah, that was probably the biggest landslide of an unpopular opinion I've probably ever seen. I don't even think we reached a handful of people total across all our platforms together that are disappointed with Bremer. So KB17, massive shout out to you. We appreciate and respect all opinions. All right. But that was interesting to see just how sharp it was. We are going to get into more of everyone's unpopular opinions later on today, and we're going to have some fun with that. But
Oh,
we do have to
yes.
tackle some news. We have to tackle some news, some of the stuff that's going on this past week. One of them is that Juve has renounced the last appeal for Calciopoli, and some fans say no, keep the fight going. Other fans understand wasted time, wasted resources, and everything. I want to get your opinions on, should Juve have renounced that? How do you feel about it? Where are you at with it? Okay, and let's start with Trim here. How do you feel when you heard that it was renounced and everything?
Well, I mean, obviously, it's something that's been going on for a long time, and I think it's something we'll never forget about as Juventus fans, right? And I'm sure the club as well. So just because they renounce, it doesn't mean that they're gonna just chalk it up as okay, we lost this battle, and there's nothing we can do about it. But I know I heard you mention at one point. I don't know if it was right after that or whatnot, but I know you mentioned something about like this could be setting up for another possible move down the road in regards to the whole matter. But like I said, I mean, it's hard to say really. Like, obviously, I'm disappointed. I wish they could have kept fighting, but at the same time, like, there's no sense in fighting a battle where it's like a losing battle in the end, right? Because we all know what happened. We know that it would take a miracle for someone involved to kind of change the fortunes and change their opinion, right? All these years later, it's
Yeah.
just there's too many people against us, and that's it. Just move on now.
Yeah. Rino, do you share the same sentiments as Anthony there in terms of it?
Yeah, well, the thing is, it's been a long time that it's been going on. Then it's even a waste because we had to deal with anti-Juventini, guys like Santorelli, then all these people going against us. Unfortunately, you will never win. Like, we can keep on fighting, but with the FGG and company and then the whole world against us, you'll never win. So,
Yeah.
but at the same time, uh, I guess we should just move on because I know a lot of people in my hand on my channel, even from Italy, they're not happy about it.
Yeah.
They say that Elkan just cleaned his sense, but we all know how Elkan is because unfortunately he's not a type of guy that fights. For me, he's a beta male because he just likes to. Plus, he's a businessman, so he that the same thing like you said on your video, like I said to myself. Maybe he just wants to clear that up because it was a lot of money, and maybe in the future we may do something good. But at the end of the
Yeah.
day, all that matters, 38 still in campo. Quindi, aria
Yeah.
fresca a tutti. So,
I will point out a couple things that also have to do this before I get my shouts. I do want to say what's up to our gaming, showing love from South Africa. Much love, my friend. And no, I don't think I'm going to share the location of where Anthony's at so you can reclaim that kit. Everybody loves those. Those kits are just absolute fire. But we'll maybe share those. We'll share the leaks again of what I've given for descriptions. A lot of people were fired up and saying, Berto, show me the photos, whatnot. Huge legal issues, everybody. Can't show you the leaked photos. I can only explain them, okay? But they will be
okay.
leaked soon enough by others. But we'll talk about that too when we get to it. In terms of this with Calciopoli and renouncing it, there's something going on in the background that still could turn the tide at some point, but I don't think it's going to. Ultimately, for me, every sign that we're getting around Juventus is based around what? The finances. It's all about the money right now, cleaning things up and getting everything sorted out. We've also heard about what's going on in the background with Elkan and the family and everything, cleaning up properties and assets that they're tied to and whatnot, and now potentially selling them or trying to sell them. Everything looks like it's getting cleaned up because I'm quite positive they're getting a partner to come in. And I think they're just cleaning everything up. As far as renouncing this appeal and everything, for us, it stings. It still stings, and it's not right, and it's an injustice, and that's why it hurts. From a resource point of view, I mean, yeah, it makes sense to stop and whatnot. There's also still two cases ongoing with Girodo and Moji that if those turn and set a different precedent, it's not completely done. It's not completely done. So we kind of have to wait for those two, and you never know what can happen. But ultimately, I mean, can we expect anything to change or anything? It's been 17 years that the thing has been shut down and been pushed away and brushed aside, almost like it wasn't a massive conflict of interest. It wasn't this massive injustice when other clubs. So why expect it to change now? The other big thing that I've said the entire time is that the FIGC simply can't afford for any of this to get overturned, turned around, or ruled differently, because it would literally crumble. If we were able to go back for how much it actually cost Juve and took us to get back where we needed to be, lost resources, lost talent, lost assets, lost revenue. How could you even measure the lost revenue over all those years it took to get back? They simply can't afford it. So as much as it sucks, as much as it stings, we got to move on, and we got to do it where it counts. Sul campo, all right? And show them what's up and give them the big day. Now, all right? Now we got to rock on some other news. Douglas Costa's been twerking for Juventus, everybody. This interview yesterday and whatnot. Oh, my God. This guy. Holy shit. My God, get the crew, the board, a round of drinks, because this guy's twerking for them right now. Stop it, Costa. Stop it. It's been a no from me from the get-go. Nothing's going to change my mind, but I will say this. It wouldn't surprise me, right? Like, we're going to go in the midfield. We have to go in the midfield. We're all in agreement here. We've talked a lot. Anthony, myself, Rino. Need a midfielder. Samardžić is the guy I'm hoping for. Anthony's on the train too.
Yeah.
And Reno's, I think you're happy with Samardžić.
Yes, 100%.
So depending what we're going to do in the middle of the park and whatnot, a forward, maybe we're going to bring a forward in. Costa, the one thing that makes me think like maybe, just maybe, is the fact that people are acting like this is going to be a multi-year deal or something like that. No, but for the second half of the season, on just a low salary and everything, this is why I wouldn't be surprised. I still say no, and there's no point. I would rather give the minutes to a young guy. But I'm going to ask this question. Would you be surprised? Would you be surprised if they did it based on all that?
I mean, I would be. I actually would be. And the reason being is, again, okay, I can't profess to say that, okay, so if nobody knows, I live in Toronto. So obviously I do watch and support TFC, but obviously that was a dumpster fire this year. So I can't profess to say that I've watched any LA Galaxy games, but I mean, if the guy got released by LA Galaxy, I'm not trying to crap on MLS because I actually watch and support the MLS, but of all the guys that have been rumored to come back, he would be at the bottom of the totem pole in terms of who I would be like, okay, like bring him back in. Again, I understand his skill. I saw it, his speed. He's in the position that we probably need guys the most, in the sense of if we're playing three up top. But the thing is, Max isn't going to play three up top. So where are you going to put him in a 3-5-2? On the flank? I don't know. I don't see it. So, and not to mention his injury history. So that's kind of where I stand. Rino?
For me, I don't know. You guys know me. No more ministeri scaldate. So I don't know. Is it going to be Pogba too? Like, I don't get these guys. Like, so many players out there, we always get back to the old ones. No, thank you. We need some refreshed players, man. Because the fact they mentioned this, then even Bernardeschi on top, please, no. Because if Bernardeschi comes, even this guy, I'm going to lose it on January. Straight up.
You're going to lose it anyways. You're a hothead. Listen.
Exactly. Okay. Please.
It's not about whether we want it, because none of us want it. None of us want Douglas Costa return. I mean, for me, that's just job security for J Medical. This is one of the seasons J Medical's been rather quiet. Let's keep it that way. But the thing is, does anybody think that Berardi's actually coming? Because I don't think Berardi's coming. And I think I think this team is setting up to bring somebody, one attacker and one midfielder. I really do. I think Illing Jr. in January, I think they're moving him. And I wouldn't, because even if you want to move to a front three, I would utilize Yildiz and Illing Jr. and work around that. Kean played great with PSG out on the wing. Like, there's options. We have options. But I think they're going to bring in an attacker. I wouldn't be surprised, but hey, we're all on the same page when it comes to Douglas Costa. No thank you.
Exactly.
I appreciate his video, his love for Juventus, whatnot. If my neighbor came out and said he loved Juventus, I wouldn't go sign him. So it is what it is. Thank you for the love, Costa. It ends there. Now, contract extensions have been crazy right now for the discussions around Juventus. We had some unpopular opinions come out over Chiesa's contract extension, because some fans were saying they don't feel comfortable based on the health. So, we've got Bremer and Rugani contract extensions. We got another one that caused, maybe an unpopular opinion here from Mr. Rino here, which we'll get to in Fagioli. We're going to start with Bremer and Rugani. Again, shout out to KB17 with the massive unpopular opinion on being disappointed with Bremer. I don't think any of us have any issues with Bremer being extended. You can't have any, really. Rugani, any problems with Rugani?
No, the last 2 years has been good, so I'm happy about it.
Yeah.
So,
The guy's happy to be 4th or 5th on the list. He comes in, he
yeah,
does his job. It's
he's
clean.
still loved.
Done. Done.
Yep. Agree.
Now,
I
before
agree.
we get to Chiesa, we've got Adrian Rabiot. So, Rabiot, they had the initial talks yesterday with his mommy. And, they're trying to map out if they're going to maybe add 1 year. And 1 year would be at the same money. Or you could potentially have 2 years with a lower reduced wage. How do we feel about the extension for Adrian Rabiot? What are you hoping for? What would you do in these circumstances? So we're going to start now with Rino. Rino, would you extend Adrian Rabiot?
No, I wouldn't.
Flat out, no extension.
No, because last year they already should not extend him. I was like, let's give a guy a chance because he had a good year, but extend him again? No. Let's get some new players. We need some new refreshment,
If
in my
he
opinion.
goes from this point of the season on to the rest of the season playing the way he did last year, you still wouldn't resign him or extend him?
No, I want somebody new, with all the love and respect, but I'm not really a big fan of Rabiot. Like,
Yeah.
yes, he had his good year last year. This year, he started like how he started 2 years ago. Maybe he might change because he is a good player, but no, thank you.
Yeah.
Time to fa quattro passi. Quindi.
Okay. Trim, what are you thinking, my man?
So I've kind of gone back and forth on this. My initial thought right off the hop, without thinking too much about it, is 1 year at the most. But then I started thinking about what Reno's saying about not extending him at all. And obviously that's my preferred option. But the thing is, I just don't see Juventus having enough funding to replace him and add an additional midfielder on top. But again, this is something I guess that we can kind of look forward to in the summer. So who knows what happens come the end of the season. If we finish top 4, we should have funding to add a midfielder to replace him. But the thing is, at that point, he'll already probably be extended, right? So and this is the crazy thing, I've been thinking about it, if nothing happened with Fagioli and Pogba didn't take testosterone, then I could see more of a clear path to kind of just cut bait, right? But again, Pogba's injury prone. He's now gone and out of the picture. Fagioli's out of the picture. So Fagioli will come back next year. And we'll add someone in January, hopefully, most likely, right? But yeah, that's where, of course, the Thuram lovers and dreamers, he's the perfect replacement for me. But again, it's the cost, and we're going to be going into a bidding war in the summer for him at the EPL teams. So for me, 1 year, no more. But again, I think 1 year, and then Juve will go and extend him for 2 years. And it's like, oh man, just, 2 years.
I think, like when I look at this situation, I think I'm starting to come to this point where I'm kind of like almost indifferent to it. Like I feel like we have to kind of know the options available, really, to what we're going to do. For me, McKennie, if he sticks around, it can't be in the midfield. It just can't. I've seen enough of it. It doesn't really do anything for me. So Rabiot's ahead of him for sure. Pogba's going to be done with Juventus. Like that's just waiting for it to be finalized. But Pogba's 10 years done. Yep. So you're going to need help regardless in the middle of the pitch. Miretti has to go out on a loan, you guys. Has to. Okay?
Agreed.
So all of a sudden, like that's 3 guys for me right away that I'm scrapping before this. So you may say we got bigger fish to fry, but you never want to add more fish to the pan that you got to fry. Hey, Rabiot, 1 more year just to kind of help, because you're not going to bring in 4 new midfielders that are all going to be up at that caliber. So realistically, a 1 year at the same wage, okay. A multi-year at a reduced wage, that actually could be a little bit interesting, because then you actually have some room to play with in terms of a move, right? But the thing that concerns me is that Well, it would have to be that reduced wage to get a shot at moving him if you do want to in the future. And is it going to be a club that Rabiot will accept? Because that's the thing that kind of scares me if we go multi-year, if we do want to try to move him at some point. It's like, well, he may not accept and maybe the offers just aren't there. And that makes me think back to last season why he stuck around at Juventus and it went on so long and he didn't accept anything else, probably because what was coming in wasn't from anybody he thought was going to be knocking on the door for Rabiot, which is a little bit bizarre, to be honest, when he's a national team starter for France that has a very, very strong list. But for me, we have other things that we're going to have to deal with. It might be in Juve's best interest to just tie that one up for one more year at least and start getting some other guys. Because like the list I just gave you, is there any disagreements with that? Like, I would move McKennie first. Miretti has to go on loan. Pogba's done. Like, that's straight up going to happen, I think, guys. You know? So,
Yeah.
maybe keeping Rabiot, when you factor all of those, it makes a lot of sense, right? In terms of the performances, though, I will agree. I think that's not at the level it was last year. But I will say this, against Milan, I was happy. I was happy with him and whatnot and what he did.
Yeah.
And it's not necessarily about not giving McKennie respect, but we have to be serious. This season, his best has been at right wing back. As a midfielder, especially in a midfield shared with Adrien Rabiot, we need more. There's a clear lack of abilities that is not there in the middle of the pitch. So, for me, you got to look at sorting that out. Okay, that's just me. And it's not a disrespect. It's, for me, being realistic.
Bravo.
Well, another thing.
And if
I
you're
just wanna
saying he's
quickly
been
add-
solid in the midfield, okay, again, there is a clear lack of abilities that are not there. It's not a knock to McKennie, but here's the thing. It's McKennie or Rabiot. So who would you pick to stay in that midfield out of those two? For me, it's Rabiot. If you're gonna say that McKennie is our creative guy in the midfield, we have a problem. We have a problem. There is far better creators. If we added Samardzic today, you would notice, and it would smack you in the face like a pacha shkafu, like I'm telling you. Yeah, I'm telling you, it would hit you. There's a lot there. We need help there. Now,
Exactly.
it's we can't get defensive about these guys. It's not necessarily saying that they're bad, they're a problem or anything, but we're lacking something. And right now on the totem pole, McKennie would be the guy. He would be the guy moved. And don't forget, we tried to move him. Couldn't.
It didn't work.
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
The hamburger
now we
needs
get
to
to
go.
one, Fagioli. So Juve they're doubling down. I don't think they have a choice, but they're doubling down on backing this kid, and he's set to get a contract extension. Guys, I said it when everything went down and whatnot. I said, I hope he realizes how fortunate he is, because another Juventus, another time, he's not going to get that. But now we're going to extend him, and they're standing behind him. Really, we have no real choice, but we got to hope this kid pans out and hits. But, Anthony, how do you feel about the Fagioli extension?
Well, in the initial, when the news came out, I feel like I was probably more along the harsh side, kind of like I know we shared similar feelings towards him in terms of like what happened and how they should deal with it, and we did say that however the club chooses to handle the situation, we'll be behind them regardless, right? So
Yeah.
They're clearly showing that they're behind the kid, and like you said, I just hope that he's got it between the ears, that he can, stay motivated, train his ass off, and come back next season and just continue to progress. Because like you said, it's almost like we kind of have no choice now. We're handcuffed to him, right? So, if he goes where he's supposed to, that extension is going to look pretty good in the end.
Yeah.
So, and it'll all be forgotten, and we can all move on.
Yeah. Rino, Fagioli extension.
Well, you know my thoughts about it. Not really happy, because even the beginning of the situation, I was really on it, because for me, he still remained a vagabondo, because you shouldn't be doing that. Then even if you give him an extension, you give him the help, is it for sure that he's going to clear his head, whatever? Like, you give this guy a chance, then who knows? In the future, he might do worse. Like, I don't understand this. Like, I understand the point of view, you have to give this guy credit whatsoever, but come on. Like, this guy had 3 million debts. He had the Serbs attacking him in front of the Allianz Stadium. Like, kid, you got to smarten up. No. I only hope that he does good, because if not, like I always said, I'm just going to lose it. But that's just my opinion. You know what I mean? I'm old school that way. I can't help it.
So what are you saying? Wait before doing anything with a contract extension for Fagioli to try and see if, in fact, things have cleared up, or what?
Yeah, wait, maybe do like a year or two. Like, you give this guy for another 5 years. Who knows if it's going to be clear out even with the rehab?
I haven't
Like,
heard 5 year. I haven't heard a 5 year extension.
No, until 2028, right?
Okay, so extended. So right now his contract is up when? It's up in 2026. We would be adding 2 years. He's still contracted to 2026. So
okay, no, I thought 2028. Sorry. Okay, so 2026.
So
yeah. Okay.
I kind of agree with something that here's the thing. He's contracted till 2026. Why on earth are we doing that right now? Like, wait.
What's the rush? Yeah.
Yeah,
What's
exactly.
the rush, right? Like, I mean, you've got a little bit of time here. Let's just wait. Let's just wait.
Exactly.
And this is one of the things I've always said with Juventus sometimes in contract extensions. We've done this in the past, and it stung us when we were jumping way too fast on these things. Even Adrian Rabiot. Let's wait. Let's wait. Let's just wait and see. And if a player gets upset about it, oh, you didn't sign me, like we heard about Rabiot last year, his mommy got upset because it was drug out until the end. Well, listen, if you're going to get upset about it, well, tough. It's a performance-based system for them as players. Why should we not be treating that as such? And I would be more inclined to see Juventus start to add more incentives to bonus packages and their pay structures. Like, right now, we're trying to turn things around, and we're trying to extend players and try to reduce wages and spread them out. Well, why not actually just start making sense of the contracts we're giving them and add more incentives to it? If you're worried about a guy that's coming in and his injury record or whatnot, okay, let's try to get some appearance incentives in there. Like, you know what? You hit this many games, whatever, boom. Here's some more money for it. Like, try to do something. And I know that that's a bad example because it's hard for players to want to sign to something they have no control over, whether they get injured or not, and it can happen at any given moment. But it's just an idea in terms of performances, numbers, assists, whatever, given the player. Let's try and work on that more, but let's not jump the gun on these extensions. Fagioli, after what he just did, I'm in line with Rino. I'm very upset by it and disappointed.
Oh, yes.
He's contracted to 2026. There's no need to jump on this. Let's pump the brakes on the Fagioli one. Federico Chiesa extension, and this is the one that got kind of started firing off because subs say no to 7 million and no to 2028 on Federico Chiesa, okay, because of the risk of the health. So we got to get into this one, and immediately,
yes.
Rino, I know where you're going to go, so fire away. Federico Chiesa contract extension 2028 at 7 million. You're probably signing the paper right now.
Exactly. I don't know why people disagree. Like, we have discussions through our fellow paisans all the time. Like, this is what I don't get. Like, people think you sell this guy on January. You think you're going to get him 80 million, 7 million? No. Chiesa è uno di noi, cazzo. Let's be honest here. Why? The guy has grinta. He's the only one that has grinta. There are players, like you said on your video, that make 7 million, and he deserves more than those players. So extend him. I don't want to hear nothing. Lui è Juventino e lui rimane a casa nostra. Punto. I don't want to hear, oh, he has to leave because of it. Even the same thing with Vlahovic. Guys, who you want? Lukaku? Oh, people are happy to bring Lukaku back. Everybody likes leftovers. No. Chiesa è uno di noi. Punto e basta.
Okay. Take it easy on the pen there, buddy. Anthony.
When you did it to my show, hey.
Anthony.
That's very hard to top right there. That was a classic Rino rant flying off the handle there. But
Exactly.
yeah, no, I mean, I can't agree more. Like, you can make this argument for any player that's had injuries in the past. Like, I mean, I can understand what Alex P is saying about 7 million is too much, but like, we're paying Rabiot a lot of money. Vlahovic is making what I think 9 million per season,
Yeah.
right? Like, but
Yeah.
Vlahovic and Chiesa are the type of players that command that kind of money, right? So I mean, if he's willing to stay and you can extend him, I go for me all in for it. Keep him. Again, we have a tendency as fans to just be hesitant with more our players that we own than players from other teams and other clubs that have injury history. But like I said, it can happen to anybody. So you can't base the decision just solely on that. I think he's fit in with our team obviously very nicely. You know, when he plays and he's in top form, there's nobody like him in that position. You know, arguably in the league, it's hard to find somebody else that would compare to him, right? So he's someone I'd keep, and I'd have no problem with extending.
Yeah, it's not as clear cut as I think some make it to be in the direction of signing. For me though, I do lean towards signing the extension. If there's an extension right now that makes sense, it's Federico Chiesa's. You don't want to go into, and let's clear the air. The initial meeting was to establish the fact that there is the extension that is going to be finalized regardless of what those terms are going to be, because next season he would be entering his final contract year. You absolutely at all costs have to avoid, and I think this is something we'd all agree upon with the live chat, you cannot let him enter a final, like you can't let him walk for free. That absolutely can't happen, okay? If we're talking about him and the money, this is like another one of these things that kind of sometimes keeps creeping up, and it's this thing about you just got to shit or get off the pot if you're Juventus, and you got to figure it out, okay? Either you want this guy, you want some of these guys to be your pillars, or you don't, and you got to figure it out. But for me right now, if we're going to talk about, let's say we've figured out that yes, we want to move forward Federico Chiesa, because that's the first thing. If you don't even want to do that because you got health concerns or whatever, well then, you know what? Try and move him this summer. But if you're already set to commit and you want to extend the contract and everything like that, okay, now let's get into the numbers. Well, 7 million. I mean, again, look at the players on this club right now that are making more than that. If you're telling me he doesn't warrant 2 million more per season, I'm going to strongly disagree. Okay? I see Alex's point about it potentially harming a future move, getting him to 7 mil. The one thing is, it's injuries, guys. It's injuries. And that's what's going to come down. I don't think the wage is going to come down. The only way the wage hurts him at 7 mil is going to be if he, in fact, keeps injury issues and whatnot. But the injury issues are kind of funny because all his tests come back negative. So he comes back negative, but he's feeling something. Whatever. I personally have a theory. Okay, you guys can say, Berto, take the tinfoil hat off, whatever you want to say. I have a theory that for me, it's mental. And I have seen it with teammates way back, because for me, when you start getting tests that are repeatedly negative and he keeps, coming out and he's saying he's feeling things and whatnot, I'm starting to get a little concerned about placebo effect and maybe some mental issues about just fear after what he have gone through and whatnot. And I heard in great length at an interview in Los Angeles 2 years ago, Alessandro Del Piero talk about his horrific injury when he went through it. And it's a long time that you battle demons mentally. So maybe I'm starting to feel like it's more that than it is actually anything going down. And I'm not terribly concerned, to be honest, when it comes to the health. And maybe you got to take a risk and you got to figure out, hey, one thing's for sure, there's no guarantees. There is no guarantees. You can tell Federico Chiesa to walk. You could sell Federico Chiesa next summer. You could sign the next big thing, and he could blow out his knee in Game 5. There are no guarantees, okay? For
Yeah.
me, Federico Chiesa, if we were to make a move or something, I'm going to find a hard time trying to replace him, I think. I'm going to stick by Federico Chiesa and say extend the player, okay? Extend him.
Bravo.
Well,
But,
we saw
hey,
we
to
saw it
each
with
their own. And that's why we love the difference of opinions. It's an interesting one, but in the end, I think based on how he plays, based on attitude that is not consistent amongst all the guys and whatnot, he's kind of one of the guys I want to keep around. I really, really do. So I'm going to say yes to keeping Federico Chiesa, okay? Now,
And
Tognozzi
one
leaving.
note
We got to talk
for
about
my wife.
Tognozzi leaving.
She's Federico Chiesa's lover, so we got to keep him.
Take it easy. Take it easy.
Okay,
Tognozzi.
right.
Tognozzi leaves. This was fast. It's like you get the rumors in the morning. By afternoon, it's like he's agreed. It's going to happen. Tognozzi, the thing I will say with this is now we're hearing that it's going to be Giuntoli's right-hand man or whatever that's going to be coming in. So I think it's going to be okay. I hope it's going to be okay. But to say that this isn't a big loss wouldn't be fair to the work that he's done. Okay? Integral in Juve next gen. Could you guys imagine where this particular Juve would have been if the players coming out of there weren't able to contribute over the past few years and do so at a decent level? We'd be in big trouble. The one thing is, the biggest thing is, and I can't believe that a lot of people are saying, what has he done? We've been our worst over past 6 years. I don't think people understand. A scouting system doesn't scout players that are already playing, like, they don't scout guys that you're looking for, like your Haalands that are playing on other teams, your Mahrez, your Salahs. Like, you don't need a scout for players like that. So they're tying in the fact that Juve hasn't been able to bring big talent or key guys for quite some time and tying this into Tognozzi for some reason. That's not scouting. You don't have to scout these guys that are big names that are around the league or whatever, or even establish themselves in the league. A scout is literally your network system finding top young talent. Tognozzi is responsible for Dean Huijsen, not Hussein, Rino. Dean Huijsen. He's responsible for Yildiz. He's responsible for Illing. He's responsible for Nonje. He's responsible for a plethora. This is the most young talent we've had at this team. Not only that, this is going to be crucial for Juventus, not just in terms of integration. We're going to move some of these guys, and they're already having good value because we have brought them through. Like even Illing Jr., a young guy that can make somewhere around 15 to probably 20 million. That's huge. That's massive, even if we don't end up using them. That's a big, big chunk of coin. And the big thing is, Tognozzi was beating out top clubs. Yildiz had he had a ton of teams. Like they didn't even want to lose him. Okay? And we picked him up. Huijsen, same thing. Nonje had a ton of clubs coming for him last summer that were interested in picking up this guy for their cat. Look, he did incredible work. It's a big loss. And it's okay to say that we're suffering a big loss. We just got to hope that we follow it through. The early rumors are these guys from Napoli, Giuntoli, trying to bring the band back together at Juve. I hope it works out, okay? That's all we can really say. But I don't think we can deny he did good work, right?
No.
When you have this much young talent, guys that can actually play, it's good. It's good. He did a good job. Now,
Agree.
You guys, it's game day. I'm already getting pumped up for the watch along. Okay, I'm going to run the watch along today. I hope to see you all in there. Everybody drop a like while you're in here today on the show. Let's go. While Juventus, we're going to talk about Juventus, okay? But Verona, come on, you guys. The Ultras are back. The Curva is going to be rocking. Verona, 2 goals in the last 7 games. Come on. They're ready to drop into the relegation zone. This needs to be a victory. What are we talking about? They're in trouble.
Yeah.
They're said to be mirroring Juve in a 3-5-2 today. But theirs might be like a 3-4-2-1. We struggle. We struggle when that happens, don't we?
Yes, we do.
Yeah, I
I
don't
like
know.
the ball.
It's
I,
like, but seriously though, it's Verona. Like it's Verona. So
Yeah.
I know the formation. We
I
tend to
know.
struggle against that, but still, we
Listen,
got to be.
we struggle when they shut down flanks. When teams shut down flanks on us,
Yeah.
force us through the
Mhm.
middle. Does anybody think that this game is going to be maybe tighter than it should?
Let's hope not.
Well,
Well,
yeah,
based what
obviously the
Allegri
hope is
said,
not, but
yeah, because based what Allegri said yesterday, we have to be alla pari di Verona. We have to be on the same level as Verona, which absolutely not. But I understand his point because after winning with Milan, everybody's getting drunk, excited. Then we end up going against Verona, taking it lightly. Then we might get screwed. But I hope not. I
he's
hope not. But this
absolutely
is not
right
a
on that.
Verona.
He's
What's
absolutely
that?
right on that. We can't get too high,
Yeah,
especially for me. I wouldn't get too high on that Milan victory because I don't think it was a great performance, to be honest.
exactly. I
It
agree
was
with
good
you.
defensively, but my God, was it one sided. And this came up yesterday. Myself and Andrea going at it on Juventus, and I couldn't disagree more with the guy when he's trying to tell me that no, that move against that we did with Keane, we did it 3 times and then finally got the red card. What are we talking about? What are we talking about here? That's a reach. This was him yesterday, just reaching for anything he could grab onto to try and say that that was a good performance, and saying that people, because of their agendas or whatnot, don't see the game. That is
Absolutely.
such a load of shit. And I had to tell him, I said straight
Exactly.
up, I go, no, you're telling me, I go, this Juventus squad for me, everybody, is based on questions. We have question marks all over the place, okay? Question, are we serious contenders for the Scudetto? It's a question that can't be answered yet. We have to wait and see, okay? Question marks in terms of our performances from game to game. Would that game have ended differently if Milan didn't receive the red card? Juve might have been lucky for a draw based on how we were playing until that red card happened. If we want to talk about the game itself, he was telling me defense is what wins championships.
Ma,
Tell that to
please.
Napoli last year. Was Napoli a defensive team? Everybody in the live chat, was Napoli a defensive team last year? Hell
No.
no. It's an easy answer.
Look,
Hell no. But they finished with only
exactly.
28 goals allowed, the lowest in Serie A, from a team that's not defensive whatsoever. This is the part that bothers me, is that the Allegri enthusiasts out there, well, I'm fine with it, because for me, I'm a Juventus fan, okay? I don't give a shit who the coach is or who the players are. I don't like the notion that it's one or the other. It's defense or offense. That's garbage. That's not the case. Okay? And we've got
Yeah,
examples all over the place. There's games that might shift that you might have to play that manner. Okay? Where you got to be defensive first. That doesn't mean that you throw everything offensively out the window into bombing the ball up and hoping that one player can do something. That's not football. It
Right.
still has to be
exactly.
balanced. It still has to be organized. You have to know how you're going to hurt your opponents. Okay. So for me, it's not one or the other. You can be a defense first team. You could be a strong defensive team. It doesn't mean that what happens at the other end goes out the window. And again, at the end of the day, we came up against a midfield of Adli, Reindeers, and Musa, and we couldn't control play, even with one man extra for some points. Not good enough for me. That's not good enough for me.
Exactly.
Don't tell me that was a good performance. I'm not
No,
buying it.
it wasn't.
That's
No,
for
it
me.
wasn't.
Okay, so we're in agreement there.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Yes,
for sure.
Today,
100%.
today, we've got to control this one and we've got to take it to them. Right?
Yeah,
Yeah, I want to see heavy possession today. Like you said, if they're going to be taking away our flanks, we got to try to get the ball through the middle, and that's going to be up to, I guess, McKennie and Locatelli and Rabiot, the three of them in the middle, to try to get the ball up to our strikers. And today for me, I'm going to be watching Moise Kean, and I want to give a shout out to my buddy William Grande. Thanks for watching today. He said, "Oh, Anthony knows my thoughts on Kean already," and he's a big believer in him, but the thing is, he's got to show more. He's got to show more. And today is a good test for him because, again, okay, we can, if he has a good performance, people are going to say, oh, well, it was against Verona. So now he's got to show it against the big teams. But, I mean, I think that game last week was a good start for him. Like, he played well last week against Milan, right? So let's see if he can carry it over and bring in some consistency and maybe bag a goal today.
Yeah.
Now, well, can I say my 2 cents?
What is Magnanelli doing coming in from Animesh? Well, you know what? This is what's interesting. Because at the start of the year, we weren't playing the way we did after Sassuolo. That literally, like, all of a sudden, we have gone back to exactly what feels like last season, right after that Sassuolo debacle.
Yeah.
So for me, yeah, like, something has changed. And for me, it's going right back to old ways and old habits. Old habits die hard. So Magnanelli and what he's doing, well, the movement that was coming, the sequences that we saw at the start of the season, not really there. But something that we have to factor in, and I think would be unfair, is that we did see some change when Cambiaso came in, Chiesa, Vlahovic in Milan, and I'm hoping that is, in fact, what's going to change everything and bring things back, because Cambiaso, when he's on, that's his best part of his game, is the movement. Where he's moving, he's moving into spaces, he's finding areas, he's finding pockets. Miretti does that very well out of the midfield, but he needs a lot of help in a lot of other areas, and I'm willing to concede that. But yeah, we look different. Now we look really deep. Like, my God, against Milan, I saw Milik level with our defense, our back line, doing grunt work. And then, of course, when you get the ball, who are you going to distribute to up there? Who's going to relieve there's nobody up there because they're back in our 18. Look, guys,
well, we were
you can
watching
play
it
solid
together.
defensively, but we're very, very one-sided. We are a one-trick pony. Okay, there's a couple of good comments in here that I want to highlight. One of them is, and I'm not going to tie it to the coach necessarily, but it is kind of there. You adapt to the play in the game depending on how the game goes. Juve, I think, for the most part, falls short on adapting because I think it just stays in one method. And sometimes we grit our teeth and get our way out of it, but a lot of the times it's very, very fortunate sometimes. We have to wait and see. This one today should be straightforward. I wouldn't say we've never been, so heavy possession under Max, but in his previous tenure, no, we were on the ball significantly more. It'd be interesting to find those stats. But look, today, it's Verona. They're a mess. We need to win this one. We need to do so comfortably. Exactly. What are we going to have? Fiorentina, Cagliari after this before the international break. These are 3 must-wins for Juventus. If you look around Serie A, what are we going to have? Napoli, Milan. Okay. Big one there that could help situations. Inter, Roma. Okay. I think Inter's going to do it. As much as it hates me, the Merdazzurri will probably win.
Exactly.
Okay. But we got to get these 3. No ifs, ands, or buts about it, everybody. Has to be victories, okay? For Juventus, what we are getting is expected to be 3-5-2, of course. Szczesny, Gatti, Bremer, Rugani, Weah, McKennie, Locatelli, Rabiot, Kostic with Vlahovic and Kean up top. Chiesa, again, expected to start off the bench. This is from Romeo Agresti. I'm going to check to see if anything's changed while we've been on. I don't think so. But how do you guys feel about that lineup? I'm just going to say this real quick. I would go with Cambiaso personally. That's probably the only change I would make there because I would expect Federico Chiesa is not at 100. And to be honest, against Verona, you shouldn't risk it anyways, to be honest. We shouldn't need Federico Chiesa against a team that scored 2 goals in 7 matches or whatever. That's for me. But what do you guys think about the lineup? Is there anything you would change? Anthony, start with you.
So, no, you hit the nail on the head. I was just going to say I'd rather see Cambiaso in it, and for the simple reason to just put the game away in the first half and then go into the second half and, play a little bit of boring Max style, and that's it. Just ride off comfortably into the sunset, maybe get Chiesa a couple minutes down the stretch in the latter half of the second half. But even if they hold him out, I'm okay with that. Other than that, like you made a good point. We shouldn't even need him at this point. So, yeah, that's my thoughts. How about you,
There you
Reno?
go. So Cambiaso is the one we want. Reno, how do you feel about that lineup?
Well, how do I feel? The same as you. I think I want to change Cambiaso because he has grinta whatsoever. I kind of think the same thing as you guys, but like you said, and like Anthony just said, it's Verona. Let's kick some ass. There's no excuses.
No
So let's
excuses.
go. Yeah.
Absolutely. No damn excuses, okay?
Bada bing, bada boom.
Abhishek here. Hey, Alberto, when do you see this season Allegri? You know what? I don't know. But we hear it all the time at a training that we're seeing four-man backlines, that we're seeing all this stuff. And we're going to get into the unpopular opinions, everybody. It's going to be great. But I don't know if he's going to change it up. I don't really know.
No.
But one thing's for sure, I don't actually think the 3-5-2 is a problem. I don't think it's the problem. I think there's a couple other things at play. One of them being our massive, massive lack for creativeness in the midfield. Massive lack there. Federico Chiesa, that's why he's especially crucial to this Juventus, because he masks that deficiency out of the midfield. For me, he masks that. Because you get him the ball, he can beat guys. He can make something out of nothing. And if you take him out of there, it's kind of slim pickings. Cambiaso, even as much as I like him in the final third, he needs to work off 1-2s. Weah, I'm still waiting for him to turn that corner and start to impose himself a little more, because I think he's got the capability of bringing some of that can make something out of nothing. But again, when you watch Weah, he's very deep. It's very defensive and whatnot, you know? Crack the fucking whip. Let's go. Yeah. Okay.
Andiamo, cazzo.
Now, let's get to this. You guys know the drill. You've been following long enough. I'm going to hit you with key stats, and then we're going to do predictions, okay? Prediction time, final score, 2 tiebreakers. Key stats. Juventus have won 12 of their last 13 home matches against Verona in all competitions, okay? Juve have kept a clean sheet in their last 4 matches in Serie A. Juventus have also kept a clean sheet in their last 3 against Verona and have scored in their last 20 games against Verona. Verona have gone without a win through 32 previous away matches to Juventus. Whew! Mamma mia. It's all looking good, everybody. Let's go. The live chat's getting their predictions in here. James Lapierre's going with a 1-0 with Kean goal. Abhishek's coming in 2-0 Juventus. Let's go. Who wants to kick us off? Let's go with Rino. Rino, give me your final score and 2 tiebreakers for this game.
Final score 2-0 for Juventus. That's a nice goal. Hoping to see my boy Chiesa. And yeah, go from Chiesa and from, I don't know, Kean.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, Trim, my man, what's your final score in this one?
So I'm going to go 3-0 Juve.
Wow.
I'm going to go with Vlahovic, Rabiot, and Kean as goal scorers. And I'm going to go with 6 shots on target as my second tiebreaker.
Holy shit, that's a good strike rate, man. 6 on target, 3 goals. Bada bang, let's go.
Bada boom.
My prediction is going to be a 2-0 victory for Juventus, okay?
Bravo.
I'm going to say 2-0 to Juve. I'm going to say that one of our goals comes from a defender. I will pick Bremer to get on the score sheet. And I think that Juve will have 58% possession.
58%. Okay.
I'll go with 58% possession for Juventus. Look at these scorelines. So William Grande coming in here 3-0. Tic-tac clips 4-0. Dom B 2-0 Juve. Cugino, let's go. Hey. 3-0. Miretti gets his first. Ooh,
that's
super sub there. 3-0. Kean, Brace, and Kostic. I will say this. I was very happy with Kean. against Milan, and I wouldn't have substituted him when he made that change. I would have kept Kean in there. Yes, he had to bury that one in the first, but I would have still kept him, all right? So that's what I'm going to say. Now, you guys, it's the weekend, okay? We're going to get fired up now with some unpopular opinion. If you guys get your Storm the Barn questions too, you have questions, fire them away at any time. But first, we got to have a little bit of fun here because it's the weekend. So I want to bring something to the... I'm going to bring something to the news we didn't really talk about, okay? So hang on a second. I'm trying to bring it up here for everybody, okay? We have to talk about this. We can't leave this out, okay? Hold on. Okay, so this in the news here. I hope you all can read it. But Amorant, who is a content creator, she is collaborating with a beer company to brew a new flavor that is using her vaginal yeast, okay? Why does this have anything to do with football? I'll tell you why. Because Napoli fans are rejoicing worldwide because now they can actually taste what that kitty's like. So congratulations to the Napoli fans, all right? Hey, everybody wins this weekend. Bravo. Napoli fans can finally taste what it's like. Okay, now... Unpopular.
That's a good one.
Unpopular opinions. We gotta have some fun here, okay? We gotta have some fun, everybody. Now, I'm gonna bring this up. This went wild, and to say wild, I mean wild on unpopular opinions. What's your biggest unpopular opinion with Juventus? Let's kick things off with this one. Lichtsteiner is top 10 players for Juventus in the past 15 years. Lichtsteiner in the top 10. William Grande was liking that one. That one was gold. Come on, you guys. Show some love to that one. Busting Napoli's chops. Remember, these are the guys that were saying they were in dynasty mode right now. Come on, please.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Now,
they all say that.
Lichtsteiner, top 10 in the past 15 years. I will immediately say no. And I love him. I love Lichtsteiner, but not top 10 in the last 15 years. I don't think so. Number one, you can't, like Buffon, the BBC will be in there for what they've done. Exactly. They're going to be in the top 10. I think you're going to put, obviously, Pirlo is going to be in there. Okay? Here's where it gets... If we go to 15 years, that puts us, around 2008? Del Piero's around until 2011-12 season. Okay?
Yeah.
Nedved was at the end, Nedved was at the end. You might not consider him in there. Okay? Dybala would have to be a top 10. Higuain would have to be a top 10. He's not... Yeah. He's not making it, guys. I'm sorry. I love Lichtsteiner. He's not making top 10. Tevez, he's not making top 10. He's not making top 10
too. Yeah. No.
As a right back, it's not even close.
What about Paul?
As a right back, easy. It's easy. Yeah, but
what about
top 10 amongst all? Yeah, that's an unpopular opinion, but I love it.
Exactly.
I love it. Lichtsteiner was huge.
Yeah,
absolutely. Look at this one. Rugani's better than Danilo. So this is an interesting one. Is Rugani better than Danilo for you guys?
No.
Funny enough,
for experience, no.
I could see both. I could see it going both ways. I mean, it's hard because in this present moment, you could argue, he's better right now. But the overall career, it's hard to say. Like Danilo has been solid, right? But he's out of down arguably couple years, and Rugani's playing well now, and he's always just been that constant 4th, 5th, 6th option, right? I don't know.
I'm gonna say I disagree with that, and I would think it is an unpopular opinion just because, number one, I think it's right there in front of us that it's more than even in terms of play. I think Danilo's a little bit more, he can handle certain players a little bit better than Rugani can. Rugani's come in, he's done a good job, but you could tell the players that give him a problem. Danilo's a little bit more stable, whether you get a big guy or you get the quicker guys. He's a little bit more stable for me. Also, Danilo's the one guy that's, I think, actually shown true captaincy material right now at this moment in time. He is consistent one way or another. Whether we want an elevation in quality or whatnot, he is consistent. He has been our most consistent, I think, over the past several seasons. So I'm going to say no to that one. But it's an interesting one.
Yeah.
Rino, Rugani better than Danilo?
No, I
No?
stick with Danilo.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's keep going. There's some interesting ones here. Bremer was that one, man. You had something to say about Bremer, eh? KB17s on Bremer being disappointed. What were your thoughts, Anthony?
So, like, I could see it because it's more from the standpoint of, was he the right defender to bring in at the time, right? Because we're questioning if he can play in a 4-man back. I always go back to, you're a professional defender. It doesn't matter if you play with 3 or 4. Like, I get it. It's the communication. You're used to being in the middle by yourself, or if they put him on the left because he's a natural left-footed defender. But he tends to play in the middle of the 3-man, right? So, like, I don't see why he can't play with another defender in there. But right now, we can't play 4-man at the back. But it just in general, like, yeah, I don't know. Like, he's disappointed me more times than not, and I just wonder about him. And the summer we had a lot of teams that were interested, and like I could have seen potential move there, but at the same time you can't replace him, right? So I would argue though this year he's been a lot better. So as long as he just plays sound and stout like he normally can, then we're okay. But that one I could see both sides of it. But I know you and Knee Guy were very adamant against this
man.
one.
I can't feel the disappointment. I mean, we got to think about how much time he spent with Sandro next to him.
Yeah.
Yeah, that brings you down a couple pegs, right?
Right? Yeah. Like the amount of cleanup this guy's had to do. And don't forget, like, even the ones that are like love Gatti, and I love Gatti and whatnot, like he is still green. Like he is still green, and he still needs a lot of cleanup on his side too. Bremer is, for me, Bremer's been solid. I got no problems with Bremer. But hey, to each their own. You guys, there's some that have been feeling some disappointed. Not me. Another unpopular opinion. Agnelli killed Juve. Oh my God. James Lapierre, you're going to kill me, but we're going to get to that one.
Oh, easy. Oh.
Okay.
Well, what did he say?
Agnelli killed Juve. Let's deal with this one first. Rino, don't worry.
Yeah.
Okay.
Look at these.
Agnelli killed Juve. Guys, thoughts on this one? Do you want me to lead off?
Yeah.
Doesn't matter.
Okay. No. It's a no. Agnelli did not kill Juve. I'll explain why he did not kill Juve. We know what was achieved since 2011, 2012. The climb that had to happen there, okay, and Agnelli lost focus and lost sight, and definitely is a big chunk of responsibility goes to him in terms of where we are at now and what we need to do. However, where we need to get to, we're nowhere near as far away from right now as we were when he took over, okay? So the jump, all the hard work, everything that has come through, where we're at right now, we're not far away from where we need to be. He reestablished Juventus. He set the tone. He set all these expectations we have are right here. Okay, because of him. He brought us back to the Juventus we were accustomed to and whatnot. Where we have fallen to, even if he is responsible for it, this is not the death of Juventus. Guys, we're not that far out. It's not that dire. So no, for me, Agnelli did not kill Juventus. Agnelli revived Juventus, and he lost track towards the end, and now we're suffering a bit, but we're far from dead. Far from dead, people. So no, my answer is no. What do you guys think? Agree with me? Disagree?
Well, I agree with you on.
Paratici tried to kill Juventus. Somebody asked me the other day. It was Dan Davenport. I'm surprised he's not here in the live chat. But he said, "What are your thoughts on Paratici and at Tottenham?" I go, "That's not far enough away from Juventus. Like the further away that prick, the better." Okay?
I saw that. I was laughing. I got a good laugh.
Do you guys agree with me in what I'm saying with Agnelli?
Well, like I said, I do agree with you. But of course, the last 3-4 years, I wasn't really happy what he did with the Superlega. Then the fact he got rid of Marotta, because since Marotta left, everything went side down. Then rely on Paratici. But at the end of the day, we cannot disagree what he did when he came back. So, but I can't say that he was like. There's a lot of more problems than Agnelli in Juventus that we can say that he was the problem. So, like I said before at the beginning of the show with Mr. Elkan, so it's not just Agnelli. There's other problems. So, before we said that Allegri destroyed Juventus, which I don't think so.
Yeah. And Trim, what do you think?
Yeah, no, I agree with your sentiment, Berto. Like, I mean, people again tend to focus on the negatives and the last, let's say, 3 to 5 years instead of that whole 9 Scudetti in a row. Everything he did before that. So for me, you have to especially when you're talking about Agnelli, like ownership and management, you have to look at the whole 360 as opposed to just one individual, right? So I say no. I think he was fine.
Yeah.
And I think this is all of our sentiments, with William Grande here. Killed Juve is harsh, but he kicked up a whole shit storm at the end that could have been avoided.
Yeah, he had built a lot of bullshit.
That's fair.
With Graffiti Company.
But you know what? He still fights the fight from afar.
Yes.
Because there is some cases going on here that we have to, as Juventini, definitely keep some eyes on. As again, same with the Calciopoli and what's going on with Girodo, Moggi. It can all kind of circle back. And the one thing I have a lot of respect for Agnelli, it'll never fade. I did criticize him for the shitstorm, as William Grande puts up, that he caused. He lost sight towards the end, but we're not dead right now. Nobody will ever kill Juventus. Juve might kill Juve, but nobody will ever kill Juventus. And that's just a joke. Everybody, Juve's not going to die, okay? Take it easy. Now, storm the barn. If there's any questions you guys have, there's a lot of unpopular opinions, guys. We got to keep some for in the hopper, okay? Reminder, watch along today, okay? About 20-25 minutes before kickoff, I'm going to be live. I hope you guys all come share the action. I know Anthony's going with the Juventus official fan club of Toronto. You guys are going to meet up, enjoy the match. Those are always great. You guys, any questions we didn't get to that you guys want to discuss, let's get into it right now. Anthony, is there anything we didn't tackle that you kind of wanted to bring up or have any questions?
Off the top of my head, surprisingly, I can't really think of anything. But I mean, like for me, the biggest talking point is always like, I'm always a dreamer. I'm always thinking about Mercato because to me, that's what's exciting. Like, unfortunately, I wish it was the on the field stuff, but due to various things such as our coach, which you guys know how I feel about him in particular, he hasn't been like we're getting the results, right? So I'm not gonna beat that drum, but I'm always thinking about how we're gonna improve this team and potentially set ourselves up for success, whether it's domestically or down the road, and hopefully Champions League. So I'm always just to think about potential guys we can bring in, and I don't know, like just. That's kind of what I always think about. Like, where are we headed? What lineup are we playing with this coach? Are we going to change formation? All that kind of stuff. So, I don't know. I kind of know.
Yeah. I will get to some. There's more unpopular opinions now that I see in the live chat. We'll have some fun. We'll get into it, and I get it. Everybody's going to have their belief. Everybody's going to have their thoughts on, coaching, how the team plays, and everything. At the end of the day, it all comes from the same place, and this is what I continue to stress with. I don't like And this is one of the things that kind of bothered me about yesterday's show on Juventus that I was a part of. And I tried to create distance. I tried to separate myself from it because nobody should ever tell people how to support, okay?
Right.
How to
Exactly.
be a supporter and how to, like, I tried to create distance in that segment because, and I said adamantly, everybody that feels a certain way or shares a criticism, it all comes from the same spot. Nobody is sitting there hoping that Juventus loses so that they can be right or whatever. And the ones that do, I don't believe are Juventini. Okay? You can't be. Because at the end of the day, we still want Juventus to win and whatnot. But our criticisms come from how we believe the team would benefit. And again, if you're the type that's happy-go-lucky, that will just take the 3 points and be able to forget about a game and say, yeah, no, we got the job done, we won, that's great. All the power to you. But a large majority feels that we are capable of more as a
Yes.
team. And honestly, I believe that's the case. Juventus official fan club Vancouver is going to be at Doppio Zero today in Coquitlam. I tell you what,
Exactly.
if it wasn't for the 6.5 to 7 hour round trip, I'd be there because I had a blast watching the
That
Milan
was a
game.
good
But
time.
you know, another time there'll be more games, and I will definitely come back. It was a blast, you guys. Storm the
Yeah.
barn. Which
Especially
Serie A
me.
team's chief scout could be a good replacement for Tognozzi, hypothetically? Well,
I
can
don't
we
know.
say that Napoli has done great in terms of scouting and whatnot? We have Giuntoli here and whatnot. Should it be that big of a thing if we're going to just bring in the rest of his right-hand men? Usually that is what happens with a sporting director as far as scouts go and everything. So
Yeah.
if we're looking at other teams, what other teams are impress you based on scouting that just continue to find young, high prospects? I don't know. Like, for me, Napoli's supposed to be more of the Giuntoli thing, but if it was these guys involved, then by all means, bring them in. Atalanta is a good shout. Atalanta is
Yeah.
an interesting shout for
That's
sure.
the team. Yeah.
Who else? Who else? In terms of young talent that they're bringing in.
I don't know.
Yeah,
It's
like
hard to
Atalanta's
say.
a really good shout, I think. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Atalanta. Yeah.
Napoli, Atalanta. I'm trying to think here.
Fiorentina?
I don't want to mention the name, so yeah.
Fiorentina.
Fiorentina.
Yeah, Fiorentina.
Monza. Monza's a good shout.
Uh,
Yeah. There's options out there. Frozenone's taken all of our young talent, so I mean, you know, really we just stick with the
Fiorenina's
same
okay.
there.
Yeah.
Milan bought some good ones, but there's some duds in there. Yeah, I don't know if. Yeah, but fair.
Yeah, but they don't click, Milan.
Atalanta, Fiorentina, Monza. Those are all interesting shouts for sure. But I think I'd be fine with not. And apparently, the Michele guys got some issues with De Laurentiis, who doesn't. Absolutely fine. I have no problems with it. Bring them in.
Yeah.
I said we
Yeah.
were gonna get a couple more unpopular opinions from the live chat and bring these in here, but we'll go in there. James, you're killing me, brother. You're killing me.
Oh my God.
What did he say? I can't see.
Top 10 for the last 10 years.
No.
And Fiorent, yeah, no, come on, Sandro.
Come
what
on,
are we
bro.
doing
You're
here?
too much, James. I love you, everything, but you're too much. Even with Allegri,
You're
please.
extra,
And when
buddy.
I call you Allegriano, don't get pissed off, James. Mamma mia.
James Lapierre was a great shout with Fiorentina because they essentially are
Okay.
our talent pool for the young guys. We just pick them off anyways, one by
Yeah,
one.
exactly.
And then they want to shit talk us. We just bought them a stadium, for Christ's sake. The Viola Park should be
Exactly.
named the Bianconeri Park. Chiesa, Vlahovic, all this money we say Bernardeschi. You
Risky.
might as well call it Bianconeri Park.
Bellini.
My
That's right.
God, ungrateful bastards. Anyways,
Yeah, no respect.
we're gonna wrap up on that, you guys. This has to be a win, okay? Absolutely has to be a win. Don't forget to give shit to your local Napoli fans, okay? We threw that joke out there. That was a beauty, okay? Hope you guys enjoyed the laughs, the unpopular opinions. We love them. Keep them coming. The match day, watch along, 20 minutes before kickoff. You guys know where to be. I hope to see you all there. Anthony, enjoy with Toronto. It's been an absolute pleasure having you on for your debut, okay, with the AJC. Rino, Always a pleasure. Guys, make sure you head over to Calcio with Rino Z and subscribe to his channel.
Yes.
Show some love.
And you'll be back on my live. I might do like a Juventus show after the Inter-Juve game.
Yeah,
so
but you know
hopefully
what?
I'll
You
have
always
you.
get me too fired up on yours, man. We go back into the one
That's
thing you
not
start
my
talking
fault.
about
That last,
Inter,
excuse
the
me,
Merdazzurri. You
that
know
wasn't
where
my
you know
fault.
where I
You
go.
went off on that. I did not say that. You just went up and you just snapped, bro. And a lot of people
Buddy,
did not like your comments, but whatever.
you know where we always get into the same question. You always bring it up because you know what I'm gonna do. Don't play games.
It
You know what
wasn't
I'm
my
gonna do.
fault. It was one of the chat. It wasn't me. Remember, you started at the
Listen.
beginning.
Okay.
Hurry up
Anyways,
with the
hurry up.
dentist.
Go to the dentist. Do
Yeah,
what you
hurry
gotta
up.
do. Get to the match.
Okay, sure.
You
It's my
guys,
fault now.
absolute pleasure. One last thing, okay, because we always have tradition around here. Anthony Trimboli making his debut. We got to find out how you became a fan of Juventus. How did it start for you, brother?
So it's funny. I was actually waiting for this at the beginning. I thought you were gonna kick it off with that because I know you've been doing this. But yeah, I mean, it's pretty easy, pretty straightforward. Obviously, starts from family. So I'll tell you a little quick story. Kind of funny is my mom's side of the family, like my grandmother's side, she has some Interisti in her family. So when I was little, I'll never forget. And this is a dead honest story. They sent me a Ronaldo Inter kit in the late 90s. And I told them, no, like, send it back. I don't want this shit. Get it out of here. So, but no, it started, my nonno Trimboli and my dad, they were big Juventini. So I used to watch the games with him and, when we could get access to them. And then, yeah, just Del Piero 98 World Cup. That was like, I remember 94 a little bit, but I was a little guy, right? But 98, I think World Cup started it and just continued to watch from there. And the rest is history, as they say. But
well, thankfully, they got you on the right side there. On the right side
well,
there. We had a lot of fun on Reno's show with Marco there. Great stuff there. You guys got to check out Reno's last live with me on there. I called it out perfectly for a family there with a Milan fan and then a Juventino. That was killing me. But
it's almost the same with me. Because my mom is a Milanista, then I turn out the Juventino.
Good stuff. You guys, absolute pleasure. It's time to sign off. Everybody in the live, you guys have been fantastic. Drop a like on your way out. Drop a comment, whatnot. Don't forget, match day or match time, kickoff right here, right back. Tutti insieme. Forza Juve. Fino alla fine. Today, no ifs, ands, or buts about it. We got to win. Take care of Verona. They stink, in the words of No Knees, okay? Today, let's give them the big day. Come on. Forza Juve.
As always.
Ciao tutti. We'll see you soon.
Ciao,
Take care.
Yeah.